8 months pregnant. That's how far along she was when she opened the door and found a dead body on her doorstep, a message. Her legs almost gave out. The corpse had a note pinned to its chest. "We know about the baby." Her heart stopped. Her hands went to her belly, feeling their daughter moving, innocent and unaware of the war coming for them. She slammed the door and locked it. Then she called him the only man in the world dangerous enough to protect her now. She's carrying the child of a mafia boss she loves, but loving him has made her a target. Her sister is all she has left in the world. Now enemies are closing in from every direction, people who want to use the baby as leverage, people who want revenge against him, people who want her dead. She has to choose. Stay hidden and hope they're never found, or trust the one man whose world is soaked in blood and violence to keep them safe. Either way, someone's going to pay the price. Hello, beautiful family. My daughter challenged me to hit 1,000 subscribers. So now you're all involved. Let's show her that nothing is impossible with a family behind you. Subscribe and comment below with where you're watching from. I want to know, because seeing all your locations reminds me that stories connect us all, no matter the distance. Let's continue. Her name was Juliana, and she was 8 months pregnant when her life became a nightmare. She'd been naive enough to fall in love with a mafia boss, stupid enough to let him touch her, reckless enough to get pregnant with his child. Now she was paying for every single moment of weakness. The morning started normal. Juliana was alone in her apartment, hands on her swollen belly, feeling their daughter kick. She felt alive. She felt terrified. She felt like she was carrying a target instead of a baby. Then she opened the front door to get the mail. A corpse was laying on her doorstep. Fresh blood, dead eyes. A note pinned to the chest in thick black letters. "We know about the baby." Juliana's scream came from somewhere deep inside her. Her legs shook. She couldn't breathe. The baby inside her went still. Sensing the fear, sensing the danger, she slammed the door and locked every lock she had. Her hands were shaking so badly she could barely hold her phone. She had one choice, one man who could stop this. The same man who'd gotten her into this mess in the first place. The mafia boss she loved. She dialed his number. He answered on the second ring. She didn't even say hello. "They know," she whispered. "They know about the baby, and they're coming." Juliana's hands wouldn't stop shaking. She stood in the center of her apartment, staring at the locked door like it might explode inward any second. Her phone pressed against her ear. 1 ring, 2 rings. "Pick up. Please pick up." "Juliana." His voice was low, sharp. Dante always sounded like he was in the middle of a war. Maybe because he was. "They know," she whispered. Her free hand went to her belly, feeling their daughter move. 8 months. She was so close to having something pure and untouched by all of this. "Dante, they know about the baby." Silence. Not the empty kind, the dangerous kind. "Where are you?" "Home. My apartment. There's a body. On my doorstep. A dead man. With a note." Her voice cracked. She couldn't say the words again. Couldn't make them real. "Lock every door. Every window. Don't open anything. I'm 15 minutes out." He hung up before she could respond. Juliana dropped the phone on the couch and ran to the windows. She pulled the curtains shut so hard one of the rings snapped off the rod. Her chest hurt. Her lungs couldn't pull in enough air. The baby kicked hard, like she could sense the fear flooding her mother's body. "I'm sorry," Juliana whispered to her belly. "I'm so sorry, baby girl." She'd known this could happen. She'd known exactly who Dante was when she met him. A mafia boss. A man who lived in shadows and blood. She'd convinced herself love would be enough. That somehow they could build something good in the middle of all that violence. Stupid. So stupid. 14 minutes passed like 14 hours. Then she heard its tires screeching outside. Heavy footsteps. A knock. 3 sharp raps. "It's me." She unlocked the door and Dante stepped inside. He was over 6 feet of controlled rage. Dark suit, dark eyes, a gun visible under his jacket. He looked at her first, his gaze sweeping over her swollen belly, her tear-streaked face, and something in his expression softened for half a second. Then he looked at the doorstep. At the corpse still lying there, blood pooling on the concrete. At the note pinned to the dead man's chest, Dante's jaw tightened. He pulled out his phone and made a call. "Salvatore, get a crew to Juliana's apartment. Now, clean it up, and find out who this is." He hung up, turned back to her. "Did you touch anything?" She shook her head. "Good." He stepped closer, his hands going to her arms. Steady, grounding. "Listen to me. You're safe. I'm here. Nobody's getting to you or our daughter. You understand?" "How did they find out?" Her voice broke. We were so careful. Doesn't matter how. What matters is what happens next. His thumb brushed her cheek, catching a tear. Pack a bag. You're coming with me. You're not staying here another second. Where are we going? My compound. It's fortified. Armed guards. No one gets in without my permission. His eyes locked on hers. I should have moved you there weeks ago. I thought. He stopped himself. It doesn't matter what I thought. This is real now. They made it real. Juliana wanted to argue. Wanted to say she couldn't just leave her life behind. But what life? Her apartment was a crime scene. Her doorstep was a graveyard. The only thing that mattered was the baby moving inside her. Okay, she whispered. Dante's men arrived 10 minutes later. Salvatore, his consigliere, was a gray-haired man with cold eyes and steady hands. He took one look at the body and started barking orders. 2 men lifted the corpse. Another scrubbed the blood. It was surgical, efficient, like they'd done this 1,000 times. Juliana packed with trembling hands. Clothes, toiletries, the ultrasound photos from her last appointment. She stared at the tiny face on the glossy paper. Her daughter, their daughter. When she came back to the living room, the doorstep was clean. The body was gone. Dante stood by the door, waiting. Ready? She nodded. He led her to a black SUV with tinted windows. She climbed into the back seat, and he slid in beside her. The door closed. The engine started. They pulled away from her apartment, away from the only home she'd known for 3 years. Dante's hand found hers in the dark. His grip was firm, possessive, protective. I won't let them hurt you, he said quietly. Or her, I swear on my life. Juliana looked at him. At the man she loved. The man who'd just erased a murder scene like it was nothing. The man whose world was built on violence and power. She squeezed his hand back. I know. Outside the window, the city blurred past. Somewhere out there, someone wanted her dead. Wanted her baby dead. And the only thing standing between them and that nightmare was the mafia boss sitting beside her. She closed her eyes and prayed it would be enough. The SUV tore through the night, city lights fading into dark countryside. Juliana clutched her belly, every bump sending jolts of fear through her. Dante's hand never left hers, his thumb tracing circles on her skin, a small anchor in the storm. But his eyes scanned the mirrors constantly, hunting shadows that might follow. Almost there, he murmured. His voice was gravel and steel, but for her, it softened at the edges. The compound loomed like a fortress carved from the earth, high stone walls topped with razor wire, floodlights sweeping the perimeter, guards patrolling with automatic rifles. Gates swung open only after retinal scans. Juliana's breath caught. This wasn't a home. This was a war zone dressed as luxury. Dante helped her out, his arm around her waist, possessive and steady. Inside the main house, men waited in the grand foyer, hard faces, tailored suits hiding holsters. Salvatore nodded respectfully. Rocco, the enforcer, loomed like a mountain, his scarred knuckles flexing. Boss, Salvatore said, eyes flicking to her belly. She's safe here. Dante pulled Juliana close, his gaze sweeping the room. This is Juliana Russo, mother of my child. His voice dropped, lethal. Anyone who looks at her wrong loses their eyes. Anyone who touches her loses their life. Murmurs rippled. Then Dante drew a knife from his boot, sharp, gleaming under the chandeliers. He sliced his palm without flinching, blood dripping onto the marble floor. The men knelt as one. By my blood, I swear it. She and our daughter are under my protection. Harm them, and I will hunt you to hell and back. No mercy, no quarter. Blood oath. Juliana's stomach twisted. The air thickened with the metallic tang, the weight of ancient promises. These men would die for him, kill for him, because of her, because of the life growing inside her. Rocco rose first, fist to chest. Blood for blood, boss. The others echoed it. Loyalty sealed in crimson. Juliana's knees weakened. Dante caught her, guiding her to a plush couch. Easy, amore. Sit. I can't breathe, she whispered, hand pressing her belly. The baby fluttered, innocent amid the savagery. This world, it's swallowing us. His face cracked, vulnerable, raw. He knelt before her, hands framing her stomach. This place keeps you alive. My men, my rules. Riccardo Fontaine. He's behind the body. Old grudge, losing ground to us. Now he knows about her. His palm spread over the swell. He'll use it, but I won't let him. A door slammed. Margot burst in, Juliana's older sister, 32, fierce eyes and coiled energy. What the hell, Ju? I get a text saying run? She froze, taking in the blood-smeared floor, the armed men. Jesus, Margot, Juliana gasped, relief flooding her. They know. About the baby. Margot's gaze hardened on Dante. You brought this on her. Dante stood, unflinching. And I'll end it. Room's ready for you upstairs. Guards on your door. Margot bristled but nodded for Juliana's sake. I'm not leaving her side. Good, Dante said. Family sticks. He led Juliana to their sweet king bed, balcony overlooking armed patrols. She sank onto the mattress, exhaustion crashing. Dante locked the door, then knelt again, face inches from hers. You're shaking. His fingers brushed her cheek, tender, possessive. I'm scared, she admitted, tears spilled. For her, for us. What if your oath isn't enough? What if… Shh. He kissed her forehead, then her belly. I'll burn the world for you both. Even if it costs my life. His voice broke, eyes glistening, the ruthless boss, undone by love. Juliana's heart ached, longing for the man beneath the monster, terror at the blood it demanded. She pulled him up, their lips meeting in desperate hunger. His hands roamed gently, reverent over her curves. I love you, he growled against her skin. More than power. More than anything. Outside, a distant gunshot echoed. Dante tensed, pulling away. His phone buzzed. Salvatore's voice. Perimeter breach attempt. Handled. Juliana's pulse raced. Safe? Or just deeper in the cage? Dante cupped her face. Rest. I'll handle it. As he left, Margot slipped in, gun tucked in her waistband. He's all in, sis. But that oath? It means war. Juliana nodded, hand on her belly. The baby kicked hard. Hope amid horror. But footsteps echoed below, heavy, urgent. Dante's voice rose, furious. Then silence, ominous. What had they found? Dante stormed back into the foyer, blood still drying on his palm from the oath. His men snapped to attention, tension crackling like live wire. Juliana watched from the balcony above, hidden in shadows, her hand cradling her swollen belly. The baby shifted uneasily inside her, mirroring the dread twisting her gut like a knife. Report, Dante barked at Salvatore, his voice a whip crack in the marble hall. Ricardo's dogs hit our supply run on the docks. 3 dead. Cargo gone. Salvatore's face was carved stone, eyes flicking to Juliana's silhouette. They knew the route. Exact timing. Down to the minute. Juliana's breath hitched sharp. A leak. Right here. Inside these fortified walls she'd thought were safe. Her hand pressed harder against her belly, 8 months pregnant. Vulnerable as glass in a war of steel and bullets. Dante's eyes turned feral, black as midnight oil. Find it. Now. Tear this place apart. By dawn, the compound hummed with raw paranoia. Guards tripled at every gate, every post. Rocco dragged men into the interrogation room one by one, fists cracking against jaws, screams echoing up the stone stairs like ghosts. Juliana couldn't stay away, her heart pounding too loud to ignore. She slipped downstairs with Margot shadowing close, peeking through a cracked door into hell. Dante loomed over a soldier named Tommy Young, barely 25, sweat pouring down his pale face. Knees buckled, zip-tied to a metal chair. Blood trickled from a split lip, staining his collar. Who sold us out? Dante's voice was glacial ice. He pressed a serrated knife to Tommy's throat, drawing a thin red line that welled bright. Talk. Nobody, boss. I swear on my mother. Tommy sobbed, snot mixing with tears. Rocco slammed a meaty fist into his gut. Tommy retched bile onto the concrete floor. Gambling debts. Fontaine's bookie. We found the texts on his burner phone. Juliana's stomach lurched violently. The vulnerability slammed her baby, their secret, turned into a weapon by one coward's greed. One weak link in the chain, and they were all dead meat. Dante's face twisted pure rage laced with something deeper, a festering wound from his own past. His father, gunned down by a trusted mole when Dante was just 17, history clawing back to life. You knew what this family means. My woman, my unborn child. He grabbed Tommy's greasy hair, yanking his head back at a brutal angle. You traded them for chump change? For debts? Tommy whimpered like a kicked dog. He offered money, just the baby info. I didn't think they'd… You didn't think. Dante's knife plunged deep into Tommy's thigh muscle. A guttural scream ripped the air, wet and animal. Blood sprayed hot and metallic, splattering the wall. Juliana clapped a trembling hand over her mouth, hot tears streaming down her cheeks, horrified to her bones, mesmerized by the monster she'd fallen for, the protector forged in endless fire and betrayal. Rocco hauled the writhing Tommy up by his collar. Dante nodded once, cold as death. A single gunshot cracked clean through the skull. Final. The body slumped heavy, eyes staring vacant at nothing. Juliana stumbled back into the hall, Margot catching her elbow. "You saw that brutality? He's doing it for you. For her." Margot's voice shook, but her eyes burned fierce with loyalty. Her own secret festered deep, a past abuse from a crooked cop boyfriend that made her distrust every man with power. Yet here she stood, neck deep in Dante's war for her sister's sake. Dante emerged, wiping crimson hands on a rag, his face haunted by ghosts. He found Juliana in the shadowed hall, pulled her trembling body into his arms. "You shouldn't have seen that savagery. I had to know." She pressed against his chest, feeling his heart thunder like war drums. That could have been anyone close, even someone you trust like family. His massive hands framed her belly gently, reverent amid the carnage. "Never me. I'd die first before I let harm touch you." Vulnerability cracked his iron armor, raw fear of losing her, the only light piercing his blood-soaked world. His empire goal clashed hard against family, power, or love. Love demanded everything. Outside, engines roared to life, Dante's retaliation crew rolling out heavy. Rocco led the charge, faces grim as graves. Fontaine's waterfront warehouse. Make it surgical. No survivors. Juliana clung to Dante as he kissed her fiercely, tasting salt and desperation. "Stay inside these walls. Every door locked. I'll be back by nightfall." Fear clawed her throat, longing for his rough touch, heartbreak at the endless violence it birthed. The baby kicked sharp, a living reminder of stakes so high. Her old impulsiveness had chained them here. Could cold logic carve an escape now? Hours dragged like chains. Margot paced the suite, Glock ready in her waistband. "He's ruthless as death. But for you, sis? He'd burn his whole empire to ash." Sun bled low on the horizon. Tires crunched gravel outside. Dante returned, suit torn at the seams, knuckles raw and split, a shallow razor cut weeping on his sharp cheekbone. Victory burned cold in his dark eyes. 3 of Fontaine's top lieutenants down, message carved in their flesh. Juliana rushed into his arms, hands trembling as they traced his wounds. Relief warred savage with terror. "Promise me no more leaks inside." He cupped her belly possessively. "I'll protect you even if it costs my life." His voice cracked raw, eyes glistening wet. Soft only for her, but Salvatore burst through the doors, face ashen as a corpse. "Boss." We cracked Tommy's phone deeper. Not just debts. A photo sent 2 hours ago. Of her. He thrust the screen forward, Juliana's latest ultrasound image, stamped with fresh GPS coordinates to the compound. Her blood turned to ice water. The mole wasn't working solo. Ricardo Fontaine was closer than a shadow, steps away from her door. Dante's roar shook the walls like thunder. "Full lockdown. Mobilize every man. Now." Juliana's world narrowed to the ultrasound photo in Salvatore's hand, her baby's profile, tiny heart outlined in grainy white, now a death warrant stamped with their location. Her hands flew to her belly, protective, as contractions rippled sharp beneath her skin. Stress. The doctor had warned her. High-risk pregnancy. Any shock could trigger early labor. She gasped, doubling over. Dante caught her instantly, face paling beneath the bloodstains. "Juliana, talk to me." "Pain," she whispered, sweat beading on her forehead. "The babies. Kicking too hard. It hurts." Margot was there in a flash, arm around her waist. "She's going into labor. Stress from all this hell. Hospital. Now." "No hospitals," Dante growled, but fear cracked his voice, his deepest wound. Losing his mother to a botched delivery when he was a boy. Powerless then. Never again. "Ricardo's got them bought." Salvatore nodded grimly. "Confirmed. His men patrol the parking garage already." Juliana cried out as another contraction gripped her. False labor or not, it felt like her body tearing apart. The baby thrashed inside, vulnerable life demanding escape from the cage of fear. "I can't. Breathe. Dante, please." His jaw clenched. "Empire be damned. Armored convoy. Rocco leads." "Move." They bundled her into the lead SUV, Dante cradling her against his chest, Margot in the back with a Glock across her lap. Tires screamed as they barreled toward the city hospital, floodlights piercing night, guards everywhere. Rocco's voice crackled over radio. "Clear on approach, but eyes on us. Fontaine's scouts. Inside the ER, white lights buzzed sterile. Doctors swarmed, monitors beeping, IVs piercing her vein. Juliana gripped Dante's hand, nails drawing blood. "Don't leave me." "Never," he vowed, kissing her knuckles. Ruthless killer reduced to tender guardian. His goal fractured. Conquer Ricardo or save his family. Love won, for now. Hours blurred, meds dulling the pain, false contractions fading. "Stable," the doctor said. "Bed rest, no more stress." But Margot peered out the window, face draining. Black SUVs, parking garage, 3 cars, Fontaine's plates. Dante's eyes went volcanic. "Evacuate, now." He scooped Juliana into his arms despite her protests, her belly heavy against him. "I've got you." Alarms wailed as they hit the garage concrete, echoing footsteps. Rocco's team fanned out, guns drawn. Shadows moved, tires squealed. A van blocked their exit, doors flying open. 4 men piled out Ricardo's wolves, faces masked, pistols gleaming. "Get her to the cars," Dante roared, shoving Juliana toward Margot and Rocco. Bullets pinged off concrete pillars, sparks flying. One grazed Rocco's shoulder, blood blooming dark. He fired back, dropping a gunman in a spray of crimson, throat exploding, body crumpling wet. Juliana screamed, contractions flaring vicious. "The baby! Something's wrong!" Fluid trickled warm down her leg, false alarm turning real. Her water, fear choked her. Independent woman reduced to this fragility, torn between fleeing alone or clinging to Dante's violent shield. Margot dragged her behind a SUV, firing wild shots. "Stay down, sis." Her own fear pulsed, losing Juliana would shatter her. The sister who'd raised her after their mother's death. Dante charged like a demon, tackling a shooter. Fists flew, bones cracking, blood slicking the floor. He snapped a neck with brutal efficiency, then grabbed his pistol. 2 shots, 2 bodies down, heads bursting red. Possessive rage burned. His woman, his child, no one touched them. Rocco gunned the engine, tires smoking. "In, now!" They piled in, bullets shattering the rear window. Glass rained razor sharp. Dante shielded Juliana, taking a slug to his vest impact, knocking breath from him. The convoy punched through, smashing the blockade van aside in screeching metal. Back at the compound, medics swarmed. Juliana sobbed on the exam table, gel cold on her belly. Ultrasound hummed baby's heartbeat, strong, steady, false labor. But so close. Dante sat beside her all night, holding her hand, whispering broken promises. "I saw you hurting, thought I lost you both." His voice raw, eyes red-rimmed. Vulnerable alpha, undone. "You're my everything." She touched his bruised face, longing twisting with heartbreak. Past trauma whispered. Her impulsiveness birthed this chaos. Could she survive it? Her hand rested on her belly, their hope, their risk. Dawn broke. Salvatore entered, grim. Fontaine's bragging. "Sent us a message. A finger. From one of our guys. Says next is hers." Juliana's blood froze. The walls closed tighter. "Hit subscribe, and let me keep you company with a new story every day." Dante's eyes burned holes into the small wooden box. Salvatore placed on the polished oak table a human finger, severed clean at the knuckle, nail chipped and dirty. A gold lieutenant's ring still looped tight around the pale flesh. Crusted blood flaked off the ragged stump as Dante lifted it, the metallic stench hitting Juliana like a physical blow across the room. She gagged violently, one hand flying to her mouth while the other cradled her swollen belly. The baby kicking furious protest against the horror invading their world. "That's Luca's ring," Dante growled, voice dropping to death-low thunder that vibrated the chandelier above. Fontaine's sick taunt. He wants full war now. All out. Juliana backed away until her spine hit the cold wall. Fresh contractions ghosting sharp up her spine like warning shots. No more body parts delivered like mail. No more games. We run. Far. Now. Dante whirled on her, his chiseled face cracking raw with desperation she'd never seen. "Run where exactly?" His reach stretches coast to coast. No, the safe house. Remote cabin upstate, completely off-grid, no digital traces, no phones, no roads nearby. His massive hands framed her belly possessively, desperation gleaming wet in his dark eyes. "You and Margot go at first light. I'll end Ricardo here in the city." Her heart shattered into jagged pieces, longing for the safety of his arms, warring with bone-deep fear of losing him forever to this blood feud. Her independent fire clashed hard with sudden vulnerability, brave enough to flee alone, cautious enough to doubt every shadow. "I can't just leave you behind. What if you don't come back? What if—" "You will leave," For her. His forehead pressed hot against hers, breath ragged and uneven. Baby first, always my priority. Vulnerability stripped his alpha armor, bare his deepest secret wound exposed. The night he'd abandoned his dying mother for a family meeting that turned out to be an ambush set up by rivals, powerless then at 17, vowed never again. Margot nodded steel resolve from the doorway, her Glock already checked and loaded. I'm glued to her side. But you better crawl back whole, Cardone, or I'll finish what Fontaine starts. That final night scorched their souls eternal. Dante led her to the master suite, triple bolting the heavy oak doors, clothes shed in frantic, trembling need. His calloused hands worshipped every curve of her body, lingering gentle and reverent over the taut swell where their daughter danced alive. Lips trailed liquid fire down her neck, across her heavy, tender breasts. All mine, he growled deep, sliding into her slow and impossibly deep, passionate rhythm built to desperate crescendo hips, grinding urgent. Gasps mingling hot, sweat slick, skin slapping soft and rhythmic. I love you more than breath, she moaned broken, nails raking red trails down his muscled back. Emotional spike hit like lightning, heartbreak loomed black. This might be their true goodbye forever. I'll protect you even if it costs my life. His sacred vow broke raw against her parted lips, eyes glistening with unshed tears, as mutual release crashed over them like a tidal wave, bodies shuddering locked together. Tender afterglow lingered. Dante cradled her belly close, whispering soft Italian promises to their unborn child. Papa's fighting for you, Piccolina. Always here in spirit. Dawn bled cold gray through armored windows. The armored convoy waited ominous outside 3 blacked-out SUVs, Rocco behind the wheel of the lead beast. Juliana kissed Dante fierce and bruising, tasting mingled salt tears on his lips. Come back to us alive. Promise on her life. He nodded, throat working tight. Every single heartbeat. Go. They vanished into mist-shrouded back roads, Margot's Glock loaded beside her on the seat. The cabin nestled deep in ancient woods, thick log walls, total satellite blackout. Stocked pantries for endless months. Juliana exhaled her first true deep breath in endless days, hand stroking her belly soothing. Safe here. Finally free to breathe. Margot moved like a ghost fortifying. Tripwires strung tight, motion cameras hidden, escape tunnels mapped. Rest up, sis. Dante's handling the war back there. 24 fragile hours blurred by fitful sleep. Portable ultrasound kit confirming baby strong and kicking. Juliana dreamed fragile of normalcy. Sunny park walks, baby giggles echoing, no guns. Then glass exploded inward. Night detonated chaos boots crunching dead leaves. Suppressed pistol shots popping sharp. Fontaine's men swarming. Margot hissed urgent, yanking Juliana vertical from the bed. Real contractions slammed like lightning bolts, warm water gushing sudden hot down her trembling legs. Margot, baby's coming early. It hurts. Move your ass. Margot fired precise through the shattered window, dropping the lead shadow in vivid red bloom across the snow. Bullets chewed wooden walls vicious, splinters flying razor sharp. Juliana waddled frantic through smoke, pain lancing white hot. One hand shielding her belly desperate. Vulnerable core screamed silent. Protect her at all costs. Survive this night. They burst through back door into pitchwoods, branches whipping faces bloody. Engines roared closer, hungry. A rough hand grabbed Margot's ankle, sudden she kicked free, vicious. Glock barking death. Keep running. Juliana stumbled hard, brutal contraction dropping her to muddy knees. Nightgown soaked cold. Can't move. Pain's killing me. Margot hauled her up bodily, half carrying through thorns. Phone Dante. Now. Weak signal flickered, desperate. Margot dialed frantic, voice shattering. Safe house compromised total. Burning. Fontaine's men everywhere closing. Dante's roar crackled electric. Hold the line. Sending Rocco full-speed coordinates locked, but headlights stabbed through dense trees, brutal. Tires chewed frozen dirt savage. A massive truck blocked every escape, 6 hardened men spilling out, Farrell, Ricardo's silver insignia glinting moonlight. Lead gunman raised rifle deliberate straight at Juliana's exposed belly. Margot shoved her flat to frozen ground. Shots exchanged, wild blood sprayed hot. One gunman clutching, spilling gut howling, but reinforcements poured endless. Footsteps closed like death knell. Juliana sobbed raw, pain ripping her apart inside. Betrayal burned. How'd they track flawless? Another traitor buried deep? Margot dragged her deeper into clawing underbrush. We're not dying in these godforsaken woods. Phone buzzed frantic Dante's text. Rocco Ida 10 minutes. Hold. 10 minutes stretched to hell's own eternity. Bullets whined lethal through the frozen underbrush, shredding brittle leaves like tissue paper in a storm. Juliana curled tight fetal on the icy needle-strewn ground, brutal contractions clawing her insides, raw and relentless. Each vicious wave a steel vice crushing her swollen belly from within, warm amniotic fluid soaking her thin nightgown dark and sticky. The baby thrashed, desperate inside her. Innocent tiny life fighting frantic for every breath in this frozen woodland hell straight from nightmares. "Margot, I can't hold on much longer," she gasped, wet, vision spotting black at edges, pain white-hot blinding. Margot fired blind over her shoulder precise, Glock barking deafening thunder into the night. A lead Fontaine gunman dropped mere yards distant, chest erupting in vivid crimson bloom, gurgling wet and choking as snow eagerly drank his spilling lifeblood. "Stay the fuck down low. Just breathe through it." "Sis!" Margot's voice cracked raw under pressure, her deepest wound ripping open. Childhood vow sworn over their mother's fresh overdose grave to protect Juliana forever, now fracturing brittle under these impossible life-or-death odds. Loyalty demanded total sacrifice, but buried fear whispered cruel. "Run alone. Save yourself first." Fontaine's hardened men circled tighter, predatory, flashlight beams stabbing pitch night like jagged knives hunting prey. "Over there! Got the pregnant bitch pinned!" One laughed cruel and guttural, rifle barrel swinging deliberate slow toward Juliana's vulnerable swell. Ricardo's silver insignia gleamed mocking moonlight, pure revenge for years of lost territory and power, now twisting her unborn baby into perfect leverage to gut Dante Cardone's entire empire from the roots. Margot yanked Juliana deeper into clawing thorns and brambles, razor branches ripping skin, bloody trails down arms and legs. Pain spiked supernova, white-hot. Juliana screamed primal, another contraction ripping her body half open from the inside. "It's too damn early. Our daughter's coming right now." Vulnerability peaked, shattering her fierce, independent spirit utterly broken. Reduced to primal mother bear instinct, torn savage between undying love for Dante and raw survival, screamed to flee his blood-drenched, violent world forever. Suddenly headlights exploded violent through dense trees, Rocco's armored SUV charging bull-like beast, massive tires churning frozen mud to frothing brown slurry. Rocco leaned brutal from passenger window, 12-gauge shotgun booming, earth-shaking. Fontaine's blockade truck erupted instantaneous orange flames, driver slumping dead over steering wheel in vivid red arterial spray. Two circling gunmen spun wild, bodies shredded instant confetti by buckshot blasts, crumpling limp and twitching into snowbanks. "Get your asses in now!" Rocco roared animal, brakes locking massive plumes of acrid smoke. Salvatore covered rear, flawless, pistol spitting precise controlled death, one clean headshot popping skull open like overripe melon, brains spraying gray-pink. Margot hauled Juliana stumbling frantic to the open door, contractions dropping, her gasping every desperate third lurching step. Dante's voice blasted urgent over crackling radio. "Status report, talk to me now. They're extracted, barely breathing. She's full active labor," Margot yelled ragged, shoving Juliana bodily inside the armored beast. Heavy door slammed bulletproof. Rocco floored accelerator savage, surrounding trees blurring violent streaks. Juliana sobbed, curled tight fetal on leather seat, trembling hands cradling her contracting belly protective. "Baby girl. Just hold on tight, my Piccolina." Bone-deep fear choked her throat past deadly impulsiveness had birthed this endless nightmare chaos. Longing fierce for Dante's strong arms warred constant with fresh heartbreak, his brutal protection a blessing or slow poison killing them all. Back at the ironclad compound, pure chaos reigned supreme. Combat medics swarmed the screeching convoy, instant portable ultrasound machine humming frantic, urgent beeps. Fetal heart rate elevated, dangerous but holding steady. The grizzled doc barked sharp. "This is real full-term labor now. Need surgical OR stat, but entire perimeters running red-hot enemy contact." Dante burst through doors, explosive, face drained ashen beneath his blood-smeared custom suit jacket. He'd been locked mid-critical war council when Margot's panicked call detonated. Now he dropped instant to knees beside her rolling gurney, massive hands framing her sweat-soaked face gentle, then sliding reverent to her heaving belly. "Amore mio, what the hell happened out there?" "Tracked us perfect," Margot spat, furious, slamming fresh magazine home. Another goddamn leak buried deep inside. Juliana gripped his silk shirt front, white-knuckled, fresh pain lancing vicious. They aimed rifles direct at her. Our innocent daughter. Hot tears carved burning tracks down pale cheeks. Dante, full siege coming hard. I feel it in my bones. His granite jaw clenched, crack audible. Dark siege rumors swirled confirmed Ricardo massing massive army, ruthlessly cutting every supply line lifeline. Compound lockdown, iron-tight fortress. Snipers perched every rooftop vantage. Sandbags piled thick at fortified gates. Floodlights blazing white hell across kill zones. Air hung thick, choking with stale sweat, pungent gun oil, and electric dread. Night deepened, siege iron grip tighter. Distant engines rumbled ominous low, Fontaine's full army encircling slow like wolves. Gunfire cracked sporadic testing, probing weak points relentless. Inside fortified walls, Juliana's water fully broke, dramatic, soaking crisp sheets with scarlet-tinged flood. "It's happening now," she whimpered, broken, dark hair plastered, dripping sweat to forehead. No city doctor available, every hospital rotten, compromised. Margot boiled water frantic over camp stove. Sterilized white sheets, surgical precise. Her hands steady surgeon despite fine tremors betraying terror. Dante paced room, feral caged panther. Phone fused to ear. Hold every goddamn inch of ground. No breaches tolerated. Contractions escalated, unholy, vicious. Juliana's guttural screams echoed endless down stone halls. Visceral, raw symphony clashing, popping distant rifle fire. Margot coached urgent calm. "Push hard, sis. I see head crowning almost there." Fresh blood, slicked pale thighs, graphic. Primal miracle of new life clawing violent from death's own gaping jaws. Dante knelt, finally resolute, claiming her slick hand tight. "You're the strongest damn woman alive, breathing. Doing this for her. For all of us." His deep voice broke hoarse, alpha male armor shattered complete. Possessive love pouring unchecked. "I'll end this fucking war tonight, guaranteed." One final Herculean push, tearing agony supernova. Then pure miracle sound. Tiny piercing cry cut chaos razor sharp. Raw, furious, demanding. Alessandra Cardone entered world wailing, defiant. Skin slick, vernix white. Tiny fists flailing angry air. Margot swaddled lightning quick in soft towel, placing precious bundle direct into Juliana's trembling arms. Mutual tears rained, grateful. Fragile hope blooming vivid amid surrounding horror show. Dante stared, utterly transfixed, reverent. Thick finger tracing daughter's downy flushed cheek, feather soft. "My beautiful girl." Pure softness cracked him wide open. Vulnerability exposed, raw bleeding. Deepest goal shifting seismic. Family rising forever over crumbling empire. Outside compound walls, gunfire suddenly swelled, crescendo violent. Rocco's voice radioed, frantic, desperate. "They're breaching east wall heavy. Full force inbound now." Juliana clutched newborn daughter, fierce, protective to her chest. Bloody afterbirth still pulsing hot. "Dante, please don't leave us." He kissed them both fierce, claiming, "Tasting salt life. Ricardo Fontaine dies bloody tonight. Or I do first." Heavy door slammed final. Siege erupted, full savage roar outside. Alessandra's tiny cry rose, defiant threat hanging or sacred promise kept. Dante's heavy combat boots pounded blood-slick concrete as he stormed the fortified command center. Full siege raging, apocalyptic fury outside the compound walls. Automatic weapons, fire stitching, brutal patterns across reinforced concrete. Russian grenades blooming, massive orange fireballs that shook foundations. East wall breach flashed urgent red on tactical monitors. Fontaine's elite shock troops pouring through like starved rats from sewers. 30 hardened killers strong. AK-47 seconds blazing uncontrolled death. Rocco held crumbling line, barely alive. Thick blood streaming hot from his shredded shoulder wound. Salvatore barked rapid coordinates into radio. "All snipers prioritize the heavy machine gunners first." Dante snatched an M4 carbine off rack. Dark eyes turned volcanic black with killing rage. "Every loyal man with me now. We end Ricardo Fontaine tonight, permanent." His elite crew, 10 battle-hardened killers, moved ghost-silent tactical behind him instant. Deep vulnerability gnawed constant at his gut. Newborn daughter Alessandra's tiny cries echoing upstairs somewhere in his mind. Juliana still bleeding fresh from brutal childbirth. Empire versus family tore him raw inside. Love demanded Ricardo's head on spike now. No mercy. Abandoned warehouse loomed skeletal ominous on city's rotting industrial edge, rusted steel girders clawing skyward. Shattered windows gaping like fresh gunshot wounds in flesh. Neutral ground arranged, frantic, desperate by phone just hours earlier. Meet face to face now, or watch your women die screaming slow. Both mafia bosses knew cold truth underneath. Pure execution killing ground. No negotiations. Dante's armored convoy rolled in heavy thunder, 4 blacked-out SUVs. Massive tires screaming across jagged gravel approach. Ricardo Fontaine waited arrogant center vast warehouse floor. Mid-50 seconds paunch straining silk suit jacket. Flanked tight by 20 snarling wolves. Pump shotguns racked combat ready. Bald, scarred head gleamed sickly under flickering, dangling bulbs. Grin twisted wolfish, pure hate. Cardone finally crawls out. Heard your bitch popped that bastard kid early. Congratulations on the leverage. Dante stepped forward alone, first calculated. M4 rifle slung casual loose across broad chest. Fontaine. You hit my supply lines? Butchered my sworn men? Now we settle in your blood here. His own men fanned flawless tactical behind scattered shipping crates and rusted machinery. Ricardo barked gravel laughter echoing hollow. You're knocked up pregnant slut? Pure gold leverage material. This war ends simple. You kneel full submission. Kiss my ring. His festering secret burned decades deep. Dante stole his beautiful fiancée outright 20 years past, gutting Ricardo's fragile pride forever. Pure personal revenge pulsed white-hot now. Dante's trigger finger itched lethal. Kneel to you? I'll bury your rotting corpse tonight. Subtle hand signal flashed. His elite crew surged, coordinated explosion. Total explosive chaos detonated warehouse instant hellscape. Ricardo's shotgun boomed, deafening. First Dante's lead soldier took full chest blast. Crumpling instant in red, frothing cough. Lungs shredded. Return fire shredded air vicious. Two Fontaine thugs' heads burst open, melon pink wet. Bodies jackknifing backward, dead weight. Bullets ricocheted, screaming wild off steel beams. White-hot sparks flying chaotic everywhere, deadly. Dante dove fluid behind massive steel drum cover. M4 chattering, controlled 3-round bursts, dropping assailants surgical precise. Limbs severing, flying through smoke. Rocco roared. Full berserk animal fury. Massive machete hacking clean through one brute's pistol wrist arterial. Crimson spray painting graffiti abstract across concrete walls. Salvatore picked off headshots. Sniper, calm, lethal, kneecapping screaming leaders who dropped writhing helpless. Ricardo charged straight through, choking black smoke himself. Massive. 45 pistol blazing point-blank grazed Dante's outer thigh, searing hot iron, blood-soaking black pants, leg instant dark flood. Dante tackled low, brutal, athletic, both massive bodies crashing hard, unforgiving concrete floor. Fists flew, primal savagery, close quarters. Ricardo landed sledgehammer right to Dante's granite jaw. Teeth cracking, audible bloody spit flying. Dante countered vicious elbow strike, direct throat, cartilage crunching, wet, sickening snap. They rolled, savage, desperate, grappling, pure deathmatch across filth. Dante gained top mount pin. Combat knife flashing, moonlight, wicked slashed. Ricardo's jowly cheek, deep savage. White jawbone gleaming, exposed raw. This cut for threatening my newborn daughter. Ricardo bucked wild, desperate underneath. Dirty fingernails gouging, Dante's eyes bloody. Knee slamming upward, cracking multiple ribs, audible snap. Breath exploding, fire pain from Dante's lungs. Around brutal melee unfolded pure hell. One of Dante's men disemboweled, slow, agonizing by bayonet. Steaming gray-pink guts spilling hot across floor. Rocco snapped enemy neck with twist, sickening pop whiplash. Gunfire stuttered, ragged, final death rattles, smoke choked entire air, metallic thick choking haze. Bodies piled high, 20, twitching in final death convulsions, agony. Dante delivered brutal headbutt crushing. Ricardo's hooked nose exploding in crimson arterial cascade fountain. Ricardo gasped, bubbling blood desperate, clawing weak at Dante's bloody throat wound. You! Lose everything tonight. One final, weak, flailing punch glanced harmless. Dante's razor knife plunged, final merciless, straight through heart muscle, twisting, vicious grinding. Ricardo convulsed, violent, full-body seizure. Eyes bulging, pure shock horror. Thick blood bubbling froth from gaping lips. Giuliana Russo. Baby girl Alessandra. Mine forever protected. Ricardo gasped, rattling death breath. Bastard son. Body slumped limp, dead weight. Dark eyes staring vacant milky glass forever. Dante staggered, rising, slow, painful. Thigh wound, gushing steady, hot pulse. Broken ribs, screaming fire every breath. Surveyed total carnage, grim satisfaction. His side victorious, bloodily expensive, 6 brothers down permanent. Rest standing, battered, breathing heavy. Rocco clapped firm, shoulder supportive. Ricardo's done forever, boss. War's finished. Dante yanked cracked phone from pocket, dialing Margot with bloody, trembling hands, urgent. It's completely over now. Ricardo Fontaine lies dead, warehouse floor cooling. Tell Giuliana and baby they're finally safe, secure. Dead silence answered back first, eerie, unnatural, post-storm quiet hanging heavy. Then Margot's voice shattered, glass panic over line. Dante, get your ass back to compound now, emergency. Gunfire exploding inside main building. Multiple breaches everywhere confirmed. Giuliana barricaded tight nursery room, clutching Alessandra tight, but unknown hostiles pounding door down hard. Dante's blood turned instant solid ice veins. Ricardo personally, dead rotting, but war's vicious echo lingering. Fanatical loyalists striking revenge. Another buried traitor mole activating final betrayal phase? Dante roared, orders thunderous to surviving crew. Full convoy mobilization compound double time now maximum speed. Tires screamed brutal departure acceleration. Warehouse entire structure igniting. Raging inferno funeral pyre behind them fading. Back home compound. Orange flames licked rooftops, hungry visible distance. Outer siege broken, shattered outside completely. But rotting betrayal festered dangerous deep inside heart. Upstairs nursery. Juliana clutched tiny Alessandra protective. Fierce to heaving chest. Margot reloading shotgun, frantic desperate clicks. Heavy door rattled, violent multiple boots, stomping thunderous inside hallways closing fast. Dante's armored convoy blasted through shattered compound gates at suicidal speed. Massive tires shrieking apocalypse across scorched gravel, raging flames, devouring entire east wing structure, thick black smoke choking out the stars overhead like funeral pyre. Sporadic gunfire still popped vicious inside darkened hallways. Orange muzzle flashes strobing erratic through shattered windows like dying lightning. His heart hammered traitor betrayal inside chest. Ricardo Fontaine personally dead rotting warehouse floor. Yet this fresh hell exploding? Radio crackled urgent static. Salvatore, give me eyes deep inside now. Desperate reply hissed back frantic. Hostiles confirmed corridors heavy armed. 6 minimum tangos wearing our own goddamn colors and patches. Deep betrayal cut deeper than any blade, one of Dante's sworn inner circle turning rabid dog. Upstairs fortified nursery barricade room. Juliana rocked tiny Alessandra, frantic, desperate in her bloodied arms. Newborn daughter's piercing cries slicing her raw soul like jagged shrapnel tearing flesh. Fresh blood still trickled warm sticky from her torn birth wounds. Crusted crimson sheets clinging clammy to pale thighs. Motherhood's brutal vulnerability crushed her spirit completely. Baby girl symbol, pure fragile hope, now twisted deadly bait, trapped violent crossfire. Shh, my Piccolina. Mama's here, she whispered, broken through hot scalding tears. Past trauma clawed vicious memory. Their junkie mother's cold overdose corpse leaving her and Margot orphans, street scraped at 12 and 15. No fucking more irreplaceable loss allowed. Margot braced oak dresser tight against flimsy door. 12-gauge shotgun pumped, chambered lethal. Face carved granite. They're kicking main door down hard any second. Traitors wearing Dante's own rank's colors. Her personal wound screamed loud. Years distrusting raw power since crooked cop ex-boyfriend beat her bloody unconscious weekly. Loyalty to Juliana conflicted, savage, stay, fight, die, honorable, or drag bleeding sis out, escape alive. Heavy boots thundered closing hallway outside, ominous. Muffled traitor voices growled low. Boss Cardone confirmed down dead. Grab screaming kid, fast prime leverage against remnants. Main door splintered, explosive inward. Margot blasted buckshot blind through widening gap, guttural scream echoing hellish. First traitor man crumpled hallway, clutching half-face shredded, arterial blood spraying crimson fan across peeling wallpaper. Back off, you fucks! Margot roared primal. Immediate return fire chewed plaster wall vicious inches away, white dust raining choking. Dante breached side service stairs, tactical predator silent. M4 carbine sweeping every shadow corner ruthless. Fresh bodies littered grim trail, 2 loyal soldiers throat slit ear to ear post Ricardo news. Dark blood pooling, congealing. Master Mole activated full venom. He kicked nursery door controlled. Margot Russo! Dante open fucking now! Prove identity fast! Margot racked shotgun, threatening. Alessandra's secret middle name Rosa after my nana. Open goddamn door! Dante snarled, urgent. Heavy door cracked, cautious. Dante shoved entrance, violent. Dark eyes locking instant on Juliana, blood-soaked, exhausted, cradling their miracle newborn daughter tight. Pure softness hit him, hurricane force internal. Ruthless mafia killer armor shattered complete. Possessive paternal love flooding unchecked tsunami. He crossed room, predator fast fluid despite wounds, dropping single knee beside gurney, forehead pressing hers tender, intimate. You both safe now. My girls, breathe. Juliana sobbed, massive heaving relief wave. Tiny, perfect baby nestled warm, safe between trembling bodies. They hunted her direct. After all your bloodbath slaughter. Dante's massive, scarred hand cupped Alessandra's tiny, downy head, reverent, thick thumb stroking silk fine hair, feather soft. First skin contact hit seismic emotional. His entire life goal shattered, reborn. Crumbling empire reduced ash willingly for this fragile new family core. I know truth now. Raw vulnerability, cracked voice, hoarse, broken. Ricardo butchered warehouse style. But this betrayal deeper, Salvatore, my consigliere, decades sworn blood brother, wanted my throne absolute. Poisoned East Guards himself. Downstairs foyer erupted, savage roar sudden. Rocco dragged kicking traitor, struggling gray-haired Salvatore, face swollen, purple-black battered, thick zip ties biting wrists deep. Boss! Full confession under blade, he admitted everything. Poisoned perimeter guards deliberate. Wanted you mentally broken forever. Dante descended marble stairs, slow, deliberate, predatory. Juliana cradled protective tight against broad chest. Fierce Margot flanking shotgun ready, lethal. Salvatore spat thick bloody glob, contemptuous. You gone soft, permanent. That knocked up pregnant whore ruined you. Screaming baby, pure weakness, leverage. Ricardo, just useful puppet, I played both sides, master. Dante's razor combat knife flashed, blinding silver arc, moonlight slit. Salvatore's wrinkled throat, clean, surgical, horizontal. Massive arterial gush, painted white marble floors. Slick, glistening red instant. Traitor body twitched, violent final death spasms convulsing. Zero mercy, traitors targeting family blood. Heavy silence crashed down, suffocating. Entire compound still smoldering, acrid everywhere. Combat medics swarmed efficient. Crude stitches sealing gaping wounds, battlefield style. Emergency formula bottles feeding hungry, wailing Alessandra. Juliana leaned heavy into Dante's solid frame, total exhaustion, crashing, emotional heartbreak, lingering poison. Dante's violence saved their lives, brutal but scarred every soul permanent. Longing one decisive, his ironclad protection became her unbreakable anchor reality. Dante held wife and daughter tight through fragile dawnlight, filtering ash-choked windows. Wars finished finally. Organization fractured, bad allies shifting, dangerous. New hungry enemies smelling fresh weakness, blood immediately. But we're breathing alive. Victory tasted ash-bitter, temporary, fragile. Juliana nursed tiny Alessandra, quiet, dim recovery room corner. Dante watching, utterly mesmerized, transfixed hours. Perfection incarnate. He slipped thick-fingered, gentle into daughter's tiny iron fist, grip, two violent worlds colliding, beautiful. Ruthless, alpha soft, exclusively for her alone, forever. But Salvatore's cracked burner phone buzzed insistent from dead traitor pocket sudden. Rocco retrieved, grim-faced, swiping screen. Incoming text, unknown shadow sender burned. Cardone fool thinks he won real? Watch every shadow careful. Our war barely warming, blood cold. Fresh, unidentified threat loomed hungry from darkness everywhere. So-called peace, pure, fragile, dangerous illusion shattering. Juliana met Dante's haunted eyes direct. Fresh fear flickering alive. What's our move now, truly? He kissed her mouth deep, claiming possessive sacred vow eternal. I'll protect you both, even if it costs my entire life, willing. Distant hallway door creaked open, slow, ominous, soft approaching footsteps whisper. Friend returning, loyal or deadly phantom ghost. 3 weeks bled slow after Alessandra's chaotic birth. Compound scars fading under frantic repairs, bullet holes patched hasty, bloodstains scrubbed ghost pale from marble. Juliana watched Dante pace sunlit nursery, holding their daughter like fragile glass, tiny fist clutching his scarred thumb. His empire teetered, fractured allies whispering defection, new vultures circling weakness. But his eyes softened only here, possessive love cracking ruthless armor. Papa's got you, Piccolina, he murmured Italian low, kissing her downy head, vulnerability raw. Fatherhood clashed empire's blood call, demanding sacrifice he'd never imagined. Juliana rose from rocker, belly soft now empty, tracing his jaw bruised. Longing twisted, deep love's heartbreak healed fragile. Past impulsiveness forging steel resolve. You've changed, she whispered, hand on his chest thundering. Fear lingered. Her wound, mother's overdose void, demanding normalcy for Alessandra. Independent fire urged flight, but loyalty chained her Dante's protection, her shadowed home. The threats? That text? He set Alessandra in crib gentle, pulling Juliana close, possessive, lips claiming hers desperate. Handled. Rocco traced low-level Fontaine remnant. Crushed. Lie? Truth? His secret festered. Stepping back meant vulnerability. Rivals smelling abdication, blood. Margot leaned doorframe, arms crossed, approving nod, her distrust thawed, witnessing Dante's tenderness. He's different, sis, sees you first. Her goal conflicted. Guard Juliana forever, or build own life. Alessandra's coup bridged them. Family forged fire. Dante knelt sudden, eyes locking hers intense. Salvatore ran day to day now. Consigliere interim. I'm out. Real life, you, her, us. Voice broke raw alpha, yielding throne for cribside vigils. No more shadows swallowing us. Juliana's tears spilled hot. Can we? Truly free? Pregnancy's risk, haunted vulnerability, peaked birth night. Baby symbol, hope teetering danger's edge. Heartbreak clawed. Love Dante despite blood, or sever for safety. I'll protect you even if it costs my life. He vowed, gravel soft, echoing siege night. Hands framing her face tender. Margot cleared, throat gruff. Cabin upstate permanent? Off-grid safe? I'll scout. Sunrise painted nursery gold, 3 weeks post-hell. Dante, Juliana, newborn Alessandra sat balcony rocker, tiny bundled against dawn chill. Fists waving sky. Peace wrapped fragile. Birdsong pierced quiet. No gunfire echo. Dante's arms circled them, possessive steel. Lips brushing Juliana's temple. Alessandra Rosa Cardone. He named soft. Decision sealed. Empire faded ghost. Family rose phoenix. Juliana nursed quiet. Milk warm life gift. Staring horizon vast. Love wasn't changing him, choosing him raw. Sins and all. Past trauma whispered doubt. But daughter's breath grounded hope. Margot joined, coffee steaming. Gun holstered casual. Road clear. New start. Dante met Juliana's eyes deep. Unspoken vow electric. Ours forever. Alessandra gurgled content. Tiny hand linking theirs, vulnerability sacred. Protection eternal. But horizon shimmered wrong. Distant black SUV. Crawling road. Tinted windows, glinting sun. Engine growl faint. Margot tensed instant. Friendly? Dante's hand slid, gun subtle. Eyes open. Juliana clutched daughter tighter. Fear spiking fresh. New beginning? Or war's ghost rising hungry? Peace shattered, fragile threat or salvation? Subscribe so you don't miss the twists ahead. Should they run or fight one last time? Your comments help shape their future.